Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with more of Avernum 4 Greed and Glory. Now, I know I kind of skipped over exploring some sections of the map, but I really wanted to get to Fort Draco already, so yeah, here we are in Fort Draco now. Let's go ahead and talk to Commander Anford. You meet Commander Anford of Fort Draco. You met him briefly when he passed through, but he doesn't remember you. He's been stationed here for decades. In that time, he's seen countless crises. As badly as things are now, he has taken it in stride. He is very tall and thin, and his skin is the standard pale of lifelong Avernites. He has grown frail in his advanced years. He is over 50, a ripe old age in the underworld. These hard years have filled him with experience. He rises from his desk, which is covered with neat stacks of orders, maps, and casualty reports, and shakes your hand. Ah, I heard we got someone back in from the outlying regions, a warrior no less. Good to see you. Normally, I talk to you. However, you weren't supposed to be here. The sovereign cease. You are supposed to be back in Fort Monastery. Orders of King Stars himself. Captain Matos gave me a letter for you. Amford is concerned. Captain Matos of Fort Monastery is an old mate of mine. If he violated the cease and told you to come here, he had a good reason. He takes the letter and reads it, then reads it again, confused and concerned. He looks up at you. Is this true? Goblins, metal tanks, air that hurts to breathe? That's what I found. Then we have a lot to talk about, don't we? You stumbled into being rather important. I need a moment to think, adjust to the hard facts. Tell me, how was your journey here? I had to fight my way here from Fort Monastery. Anford listens to your tale with great interest. When you tell him about the goblins and the film, he takes more notes. When your story concludes, he nods. Well, it sounds like you had a much easier time than we did. Up until this tricksta mess, of course. Goblins in the film are a happy mushroom picnic compared to what we have been dealing with. Still, it is good to hear that Fort Monastery still exists. We had doubts. Now, I need some time. I need to figure out what to do with this information. While you wait, since you have volunteered to be a hero for the day, I have a way for you to be useful. I am ready to help. Commander Anford nods. Matos was always good at spotting talent. He had to be, being so lazy himself. Fortunately, I have some easy work for you, and the spoils of war should be good. Tell me about what has been happening. Avernum is being attacked, not coincidence. Things have begun to go wrong, too much at once. I've seen so much here, and I can smell trouble. There are creatures in the rivers, worms that tear the bottoms out of our boats. Nightmarish shade constructs have settled in the cities, and nobody can dislodge them. And, of course, because we look weak, all the monsters lurking in the lower tunnels have emerged to feed off of our misfortune. What sorts of things have you seen? He shakes his head. We have had hard times. I've lived through a lot. Nephilim Wars, Slith Wars, Empire Invasion. I've seen a lot, but all this is new. There have been lots of monster attacks. Many of them. Why, you've recently experienced that firsthand. The hard part is sorting out the random raids from assaults that are part of a pattern, or invasion. Tell me about the creatures in the rivers. Little is known. If you spend enough time by the river, you'll see one. They are large. Huge serpents with fins and huge teeth. They only appeared a few weeks ago. They sink any boat that leaves port, leaving the sailors in the black, icy water. Have you seen one of these creatures? I caught a glimpse. I watched the barge try to get away. It shuddered. The serpent used its fangs to tear open the hole. 2 sailors got to shore. 3 died. That water is cold. Being a sailor in Avernum is terrifying. The barges are unsteady, ceilings get low, the water is deadly. Surface ships might be able to tolerate attacks from those serpents, but ours can't. Can't we fight them? I'm sure the Tower Colony is working on it, but they swim deep, and the water is fast, dark, and cold. We don't have a solution yet. Maybe soon, but not yet. Where do they come from? Nobody knows. Maybe they are being bred somewhere. We don't know where. There are shades in the cities. Well, I only have the second hand. And I know it is hard to believe. They look like humanoid magical constructs, sort of, but they are tall and black, wreathed in shadows and full of power. One appeared in the middle of Formello, stood there for a while, then it disappeared. Days later, it reappeared. I've heard others are afflicting cities to the south. Almeria, Darman, Silvar. Never seen anything like it. They aren't friendly. What do they do when they are there? Not much. Stand still, watch. And occasionally, for no reason we can tell, they swoop out and kill someone. Sometimes a guard, sometimes a normal person, a merchant or farmer. Of course, everyone in the cities is terrified. Has anyone tried to kill the Shades? Our soldiers have tried several times. Adventurers, too. They finished up dead. Didn't even land a blow. It's yet another problem for our wizards to solve. I hope they try hard. Widespread panic in the cities is not what we need. What else do we know about them? Well, we don't know what they are, what they want, where they are from, where they go when they disappear, why they disappear, what they eat, what they think, or if they love. All we know is that they stand there and kill people. But I am sure, when we've had more than a week or two to think about it, we will know more. Commander Amford shuffles through his papers as he speaks with you. He is constantly consulting his notes, writing orders, and looking over maps. He's been at this job long enough to concentrate on several things at the same time. He usually has to. What else do you need? I'd like to know more about Fort Draco. You should. It's Avernum's greatest fort. Often challenged, never falls. Can you spare some supplies for me? Not likely. Because we can't get goods, we only have enough to sustain ourselves. Probably not even that. Are there lots of mines around here? This is one of Avernum's richest regions. The galleries under our feet go for miles, and they are full of fine ore and crystals. Once all this mess is settled and we have a treaty with the Vonatai, I think this will be a major base for miners and explorers. Limitless wealth is under our feet. Anyone in town I should talk to? Actually, yes. Yet another coincidence. There are envoys from the Empire in town. They came from the surface to learn about it. I think you could give them a lot of learning. Last I heard, they're in the inn, pretending they like our food. How long have you been stationed here? Since a long time ago. I knew the dragon Motrax. That's how long. Who was Motrax? One of the dragons who lived in Avernum. They are all gone now, of course. Motrax was the friendliest to humans. He lived in the caves to the northeast. The Empire murdered him. This was all quite a few years ago, back before Avernites were free to return to the surface. You have a task for me? There have been lots of monster attacks recently. More than usual. Parasites feeding on the carnage. You've experienced that firsthand. But there has been something else. Something strange. North of the fort is the entrance to an old mine. Played out. Abandoned. Some miners have been attacked near there recently. By undead. Skeletons and zombies. No casualties. Nothing serious. People around here learn to run fast. But something about this doesn't seem right to me. Go up to those mines. Investigate. Find out where the undead came from. Those are your orders. How do I get there? Leave the fort and follow the road to the north for a few miles. The abandoned mine will be to the east. You'll know you've found it when horrible undead creatures are trying to kill you. Why is this so unusual? Because if it was just lizards or goblins, no mystery. Those just move in. The walking dead, though, those are made. Who is creating the undead? Now, isn't that an interesting question? Just what I want you to find out. Do you think this is related to the other problems? I do. We're long past the point where I consider coincidences. That's all for now. And for nods. Stay alert, we're in difficult times. Okay, so I think what I'm going to go ahead and do here is actually explore the rest of the outside area before I talk to more people in Fort Draco. Okay, we got the Fort Draco mines up here. Wait, who had the message Fort Draco quest again? Addressed to Tanak, okay. I probably should wait to get more spells before I take on more stuff, of course. I am curious to see... What the heck? I did not even see that. Cave crawlers. Actually, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and clear out the quest we had and then we can explore the rest of this section whenever. Oh, really? What is this just spawning? Dire Wolf seems nervous, but you're able to calm it. What the heck is this pathway? Okay, interesting. So I found some herbs right there. In fact, this clearing out the slimes might be a quest given to us from Fort Draco. So, yeah, before we explore more of Fort Draco, let's head back to Fort Monastery. We don't really have a fast way to get back, but... Yeah, I gotta admit, it's still taking me a little bit of time to get used to how Jeff did like to travel on the map this time around. But I also kind of like it at the same time because it feels like you're more immersed into the world of Avernum. I've been out to Fort Draco. The route is clear. Is it? Excellent. Then it is time to begin the next phase of my journey. He reaches into his pack and pulls out a short rod of carved ivory. I'm a man of my word. Here is the reward. It is a little extra fire for tight spots. Now I am off. Perhaps I will see you again someday. I'm heading to Formello. He adjusts the pack on his shoulders and strides out of town. Okay, so we got that cleared. Let's go ahead and give that to her. Apollo. It makes you feel very lucky that he managed to escape and start doing things. It's dangerous, but it's not boring. Your letter was delivered. I have learned some upsetting things about events in the rest of Avernum. Captain Matos shakes his head. For the first time in my life, we experience peace in Avernum. That comes to an end. Your news explains a lot, though. We have heard so little from outside. I don't have more work for you. That's a good thing. I think the other galleries need all the soldiers they can get. I don't have any more spare gear to reward you for your help, but there is one thing I can do. I release you from any obligation to Fort Monastery. Go where you want and help where you can. I think things would be better if you went east to join in the fight. Good luck. Good luck. Smooth floors, clean air. Have you learned anything more about Vincent Avernum? Not really. Not more than what you've heard, I am sure. I'm doing all I can to keep this fort safe. Those are my orders. I'm following them. Alright, Metal for Dottie. Translate scrolls. Alright, message for Draco. Translate scrolls. Apollo, let's talk to Dottie. I think we have some iron bars in our... I found one of your wagons that was attacked in the Nephil lands to the east. I knew a wagon must have been attacked there. It's nice to know exactly where. Fortunately, my people are moving those goods. Were able to flee. I hear they're in Fort Draco now. She hands you a pouch of coins. Thanks for the information. I found one of your wagons. It wasn't far west of Fort Draco. It has been attacked and destroyed. I see. The merchant leading that wagon swore it was attacked and everything was stolen. I had thought that he was less than honest. I see that I was incorrect. She hands you a pouch of coins. Thanks for the information. And that makes all three. Thanks to you, I'll be able to help to more reliably get tools and blades to the frontier. You've helped make a lot of fortunes. Any more work for me? She laughs. Until the sovereign sea sends, I won't be able to earn enough to afford you. Okay, anything left on here? No jobs currently available. Okay, I know I did say I was gonna explore the rest of the area I didn't check, but let's head back to Fort Draco. I tend to go back and forth with what I want to do in these games sometimes. But I'm glad I cleared out those quests for some XP. Like I said, though, this is a very immersive game, even though I do kind of miss being able to exit the town and be on a much bigger map. But then again, being able to travel like this is also kind of refreshing, too. Like I said, it makes you really feel immersed in the world. Ooh, no, I don't want to waste a lockpick on that, then. Dang, both of these are bad for lockpicks. Are you kidding me? Here. Okay, that's a trap door. I don't want to go down anywhere yet. That one might not be bad. Nothing I really need. But I can put these in the junk bag and be able to sell them later. Okay, the shop has been abandoned. There is a robed sage walking in circles around a small pool, lost in thought. Sages are very valuable in Avernum, not just for their knowledge, but for their ability to read and write. When you get close, she turns to greet you. Hello, traveler. I saw when you came through the gate. We envy your ability to wander. I am Sage, Mabel Lee. It is a pleasure to meet you. I, like you, am a seeker in the labyrinths of Avernum. Her interest in you isn't surprising. Sages often recruit explorers and mercenaries to assist in their research. Sages have caused the deaths of far more adventurers than goblins have. Where have you wandered recently? I have been traveling up the length of eastern Avernum. I recently visited the library of Formello, the recently rebuilt Katra, and, of course, Silvar. And, having seen what I could learn in the three larger cities, I came out here to further my research. Katra was rebuilt. Yes, the city of Katra on the large lake in the Eastern Gallery was destroyed when the Empire invaded, but they are rebuilding it now and doing an excellent job of it. No proper library yet, though. Where are Silvar and Formello? Formello is only a day's journey east of here, and Silvar is to the south on a river in the Eastern Gallery. You chat with the sage for a bit, though Maybelline has a sweet smile and a serene face. She is boldly open about her desire to get what she can out of you. What sort of knowledge are you seeking? My main area of study, when not using my literacy to perform odd jobs, is the Vonatai. These strange alien creatures living in their homes far under our own caves are quite interesting to me. And, of course, their hostility makes them an important subject of study. The Vonatai live below us, far below us, in yet more long networks, much warmer and darker than our own. There they speak their own language and have their own strange practices, and perform powerful magics, using crystals as focusing devices. The Vonatai dislike us? That was our belief. Before they came to Avernum to make a treaty with us, we went years without direct contact with any of them. After all, it was the Avernites who saved the humans on the surface when the Vonatai tried to destroy them. Some Vonatai swore vengeance upon us, though there has been no sign of them carrying out their threat. Perhaps wisdom prevailed. What do the Vonatai look like? Believe it or not, I have never seen one, but witnesses report they are tall, thin, gray, and surprisingly strong. They wear translucent robes and occasionally jewelry, and that is the bulk of what we know. I know some Vonatai are in the castle, negotiating with King Staris. How I wish I could go see them. Why does research on the Vonatai bring you up here? She solemnly removes something from a pouch at her belt and shows it to you. It is a fragment of carved crystal. It broke off of a much larger stone, carefully worked by an artisan. This crystal was found in an abandoned mine north of here. Happily, the miner who found it sold it to someone who recognized its nature, and who sent it to me. The seemingly ordinary chunk of rock is Vonatai work. I want to know what this bit of crystal broke off of, and I will pay well for the knowledge. What makes you think it is Vonatai work? She holds it up close so you can see the delicate shape and fine symbols carved on its surface. It's lovely. I have seen many of their crystals. I recognize the elegance of the craft, and, mind you, it is recent work. If I were to search for it, where would I look? Leave Fort Draco and go north. The road will eventually turn east. Those abandoned mines are where the crystal is from. Can you teach me any magic? I'm afraid not. I know that is a profitable line for a lot of sages, but I'm not one of those. But I've heard that there is a hedge wizard living among the farms to the east. Maybe he can help you. These are the Fort Draco docks. Normally they would be very busy. Barges bring food and supplies north from the Eastern Gallery. Then they take valuable ore and crystals back south. However, the docks are quiet. No barges are even in the water. Only a few empty, untended boats are here, safely up on the shore. The sailors that would normally be tending to them are into the south, drinking, fighting, and coping with the tedium. Avernum relies on its rivers to move goods around. These caves are not good for growing mushrooms, so a lack of imported food will be a serious threat eventually. Okay. The smithy is run by a tall, muscular Slitherikai. Many of the best smiths in Avernum are Sliths. They have a natural talent for it, and they thrive in the heat that a forge provides. The Slith forms his hands into fists, hiding his claws. For them, this is a peaceful greeting. I am Eschaz. This is my humble forging place. I greet you and hope to be of service. I would like to trade with you. Yes, I am pleased. I can sell you what I have left in stock, or I can trade you for your surplus gear. There are shortages of much here now. I can take advantage. Let me see what you have for sale. Chaz could make weaponry of remarkable quality if he had enough time to do his job properly. However, circumstances force him to work very quickly to supply the troops. Quality inevitably suffers. Well, dang. Well, he does have lockpicks, so let's buy a couple of those. Can he craft any special equipment for me? Sadly, no. My humble skills are adequate, but time is not. If you find fine leather or steel or focusing crystals in traveling, save them. Other smiths with the luxury of time could forge them. There is something else I want to talk about. Yes. Do many Slazerikai live in this area? No, not many. I traveled here wandering and seeking. Most live in Great Cave. Bad history for us in these lands here. What were you seeking? Chaz actually shows an emotion for a moment, though you can't quite comprehend it. Looking for secrets, for heritage. Once there was a mighty outpost of Sliss here, called Basakava. It was abandoned for many years. I came on pilgrimage. Thought I could learn from it. I found it was gone. Some was tunneled out by miners. Other parts gone in cave quakes. Is the way of caves. So I gave up and got a job. Where is the Great Cave? Far south of here, where the castle and many mighty cities are. Largest slit town is Nass, down there, where we live with humans in peace. There is bad history here? Yes, much tragedy. Some ignorant Sliths. They fight the humans. Make much war. Make hatred for us among humans and Nephilim. I work to correct you, to make all see that Slazerikai are proud and wise, and peaceful unless forced. How did the war end? Some Sliths swear hatred of humans forever. They were driven to the deep caves. I hope to never hear of them again. Tell me about... the Slith Chaz waits patiently and attentively to help you. You look into his eyes, looking for hints of what he thinks about the current crisis. As usual, nobody is more inscrutable than a Slith. Tell me about these caves. Though I miss my people, I like this place. Good forage and good work. Barely enough heat. Commander treats me with respect. Also, many mines. Good supply of unique metals to work with. Are you still able to get metal? The supplies haven't been disrupted? No, for most part. Most chaos is west and east. West in savage lands and east near Formello. Not near mines. So get plenty of ordinary metal. Hard to get quality metal, though, was getting shipment from north. But not get now. Hasn't come. Where from? Perhaps I can pick it up if I pass by. The Slith looks surprised. Ah, well, not want to be trouble. But if you buy mines to north, and you meet Tresha, and you heading back here anyway, she has a package of metal for me. I don't need anything. Chaz balls his hands into Fiskin, then travel in peace. Alright, let's go in here now. This man has been running an inn here for many years. His name is Crisper, and you met him when you stayed here on the way out to Fort Monastery. Decades on the frontier have left him an utter nervous wreck. When you walk up to the bar, he points at you with a shaky hand. No room. We have food and drinks. That's it. The beds are all taken. His voice grows louder the longer he talks. What? What do you want? Anything? Let me see what you have. Crisper has drinks and meals of moderate quality for sale. How is business? He looks at the ill-tempered sailors and merchants crowding his bar. Good, but I will never sleep again. Are there any missions you need done? What? Missions? You looking to get rich and famous? What do I look like? I'm an innkeeper. I don't need anyone assassinated. I don't need you to steal anything from me. What do I need? I need someone to wipe tables. You interested in that? A pause. I didn't think so. Lots of sailors, then. Yes, and then there will be until barges can leave. It's good for my business, but bad for my nerves. A lot of merchants around. He nods. The sovereign cease doesn't apply to them, but the danger does. They want to take their caravans south, but word came that the roads around Formello are dangerous. They're waiting for good news before they go. Good news? In Avernum? Good luck with that. Crisper occasionally has time to ask you what you want, when not helping the hordes of belligerent sailors and merchants in his bar. Heard any interesting rumors? Rumors? Yeah, I heard a rumor. I heard that monsters are everywhere and everything is falling apart. And that pylon outside the walls? I heard a rumor that its constant humming is going to drive me out of my mind. Where are the monsters coming from? The pits of hell? My aunt's cave? My pants? How should I know? Talk to the commander. He knows things. I don't. What pylon? It's just outside the north wall. Some mages and workers came and built it and left. Don't know anything about it, except that I can always hear it hum and nobody else can. Drives me mad. This woman has been wearing the same suit of clothes for several weeks. They are nice clothes, or they were once. Now they are crusted with the soot and lichen dust of the North Caves. She isn't looking that great herself. She is sharp and alert, though. She noticed you the moment you walked into the bar. When you get close, she motions eagerly for you to sit down. Excellent. Adventurers. I was hoping some would come to town soon. I am Bagley, an agent of our king. I'm on a mission as well. I'm looking to hire help. You work for King Starus? That honor I have been given. I spend much of my time in the castle, coordinating, but sometimes I am chosen to go out and perform tasks. It is a risk all who are privileged to work at the castle share. What do you coordinate? Everything. Supplies, troops, communications, helping the farthest reaches of Avernum speak with each other. If a murderer escapes the abyss, for example, I send word to the areas we believe he is heading. Not a hypothetical example, of course. Leaving the castle is a risk? Of course. Avernum is a risky place. Riding on one of those rickety, leaking barges down rough, black rivers was risky before. Now that sea serpents are poking holes in the bottom of every boat they can find, it's... She indicates the baleful condition of her clothes. I'm doing a lot of traveling on foot. Where is the castle? In the Great Cave. In normal times, it's 4 days barge ride to the south. A marvelous sight, the largest building in all of Avernum, and it's where King Starus resides and gives his commands. How long has Starus been king? Not long. King Micah expired not long after Empress Prozac agreed to peace. Still, our young king shows surprising wisdom. He was barely of age when he got the crown. Fortunately, he has his advisors to guide him and keep him from going astray. How did King Micah die? Bagley smiles. In his sleep, peacefully, a rare and well-earned privilege in recent years. She offers up a quick toast. Bagley lifts her goblet with a sooty hand and sips some mushroom ale. She makes a disgusted face, then she takes another sip, and makes another face. It's nice to rest. You were looking... how did you get to this fort? I took a barge. That is the way people travel when they are in a hurry or their time is valuable. Alas, that route is closed to me for now. You are looking for help with the mission. Yes, I am authorized to formally request all adventurers I encounter to help His Majesty with the task. I am hunting a known killer named Tolliver. After murdering a merchant in an attempt at robbery, he slipped into the abyss. Then he escaped the abyss and came up here, trying to escape justice. I have tracked him to a hole near here, though he will be difficult to reach. Normally I can find hunters to collect such a generous bounty, but it has been very hard of late. Why has it been hard to find volunteers? The sovereignty supplies the bounty hunters too. They are to stay out of trouble until peace is made with the Vontai. You, however, just arrived. This means you're allowed to travel. At least, I think so. I'm not asking questions. What is the Abyss? A nest of ruffians and thugs at the western edge of Avernum. It is where we exile Empire spies and our own criminals, banished and forbidden to return to Avernum. Ironically, it serves much the same purpose to Avernum as Avernum once served to the Empire. Where is Tolliver now? Before the cease, scouts tracked him to a cave to the southeast. It is north of the road to Formello. However, he has done a very good job of trapping the cave. Entering from the front would be very dangerous. Fortunately, there is another way in. How can I reach Tolliver? She pulls you aside and starts to whisper. There is an almost secret escape tunnel leaving Fort Draco. Tolliver does not know that secret. He has constructed his hideout at the other end of that tunnel. With care and luck, you may be able to surprise him from behind. Alas, Commander Anford is annoyed that I know about the tunnel, and I do not think that he cares for me. He has refused to give me access to it. Perhaps an adventurer in his employ might have more luck. Okay, just... Wait, isn't that the same portrait of Commander Anford right there? Interesting. The soldier of the Empire is wearing full plate armor, including his helmet. He sits tall and solemn, his broadsword leaning against his chair. All his equipment is immaculately polished and attended to. He wears the insignia of a full general. When you approach, he gives a slow nod. Then he lifts the visor of his helmet an inch so that he can inspect you. A warrior of the underworld. Good, just the sort of person I wanted to see. I am General Arkin, chosen envoy of the dread Empress Prozac. Join me. He motions for you to sit at the table. The other two envoys shift to make room. You are offered ale and food, though Arkin does not partake. Greetings to you. General Arkin says, yes, your welcome is returned. I am always willing to speak to a fellow warrior in a time of peace. Such times are rare. You are an Empire soldier? Yes, a soldier and leader. I have been honored with the command of many brave warriors of the Empire in times of trial. In times of peace, I listen to the commands of my Empress and find a way to strengthen my homeland. And you? What is your goal in your shadowy land? I came from the surface to seek my fortune. The Empire commands all of the surface, all of its wealth, all of its power. I can't see what you would find down here that we don't have in abundance under the sun. But that is your business. You told me your purpose. I will tell you mine. Why are you here? We were sent by Empress Prozac at the request of your King Starus. We came to learn about what is happening in Avernum. We look for knowledge, for trade, and for ways to avoid more war and destruction. Now that we have been fully introduced, we can begin. I will have questions for you. I hope you will honor me with answers as a guest in your land. You are a general of the Empire? I am. I have held this noble post since times were dark indeed. I am honored to live a life of service under the command of our wise Empress. Why did you become a soldier? Arkin tilts his head. His helmet lets out a little squeak as he moves. There is silence. Then he says, it was not an unusual story. I was young in a small village and full of dreams. Life of battle offered excitement. Many youths joined alongside me. I just happened to show unusual skill at the trade. What wars have you fought in? The three envoys are awkwardly silent. Finally, the general says, I have served in many small actions and petty rebellions, but I have only truly fought in 2 wars. One was against the plagues of Avernum. The other, I served in the Avernum War. This was when the Empire invaded Avernum, causing great death and destruction. You only survived with the help of the Vonatai. The plagues of Avernum? When the Vonatai, led by Rentar Irno, infested one of the 4 continents of the Empire with hordes of hideous monsters, I fought to keep the plague quarantined to Avernum. It was then that I earned my current rank. Of course, it was Avernum that defeated the plagues. The underworld solved the problems the underworld caused. You fought in the Avernum War? I did. I was a captain then. His speech becomes slow and silent. I was sent down through a portal with the command of 20 warriors. We were to hunt in your tunnels for rebels and assassins. Twisting, pitch-black mazes. He is a powerful, confident man, but even through the helmet you can detect a tinge of terror in his voice. Tell me more about the war. He shakes his head. This blackness you live in. These endless labyrinths. The horrors. None who survive the nightmares down here speak of it freely. Let's discuss something else. Why were you sent to Avernum? Each of us 3 has our own purpose, our own area of expertise. I am here to see the state of your military and report what I learned to Empress Prozac. Infantry, archers, battle mages, healers, all are of interest. You are spying on us? A long, grim silence. Then, I remind you, your king invited us. I have permission to explore, record what I see, and take it home. I am no sneak. What will you do with that information? Record it. Discuss it. As far as I know, we have no intention to fight Avernum. Now or ever. We want to learn from you. This is a dark, dangerous environment. The way you survive and thrive in it fascinates us. As for me, I want no war in the underworld. What have you thought of Avernum's forces so far? They seem a disorganized rabble. Poor supplies, poor lines of communication, little attention paid to laws of war taught on the surface for centuries. Those who never fought your kind would be unimpressed. Empress Prozac chose me to come because she knew that I would not make the old mistake. The old mistake? Underestimating Avernum. It is a lethal mistake. You wish to speak more? The deep voice of Arkan echoes out of the depths of his helmet. I am sure that we both have much to learn. He continues to turn away the food and drink of the underworld. Do you have a question for me? Yes, there is something I want to discuss. Then ask. We have not been in the underworld for long. We arrived by portal and came north first. Our journey here was fast and uneventful. However, we have heard rumors. There are troubles, not just because the sovereign cease. Avernum is under attack. Is this true? We are being attacked, yes, on many fronts. Alas, I believe you are correct. I wondered if you knew of it and if you would be open about the cold facts. Now I know. Suppose the threat you face is a mortal one. Suppose the survival of Avernum is at stake. Would you ask the Empire for help fighting it? If necessary for survival, we would welcome the soldiers of the Empire. Interesting. I wonder how many in the underworld would be so pragmatic. Does that much hate fade in a short decade? I hope we don't find out. That is all I have to ask. Thank you for your time. Good day to you. With a squeak from his helmet, he nods. And to you, warrior. I hope the peace holds. You approach one of the three visitors from the Empire. He is a middle-aged man, and he is no adventurer. He is tall and thin, with clean, fashionable clothes and stylish hair. He is no warrior, but he is no fool either. He sees everything. His eyes flicker around the room, taking in every detail. It is strangely unnerving when he directs the same analytical gaze onto you. Welcome, Avernite. I am Ringenberg. Then he keeps staring. Smart? Yes, but with poor social graces. Paint a portrait. It'll last longer. The other two visitors can't restrain a chuckle. Ringenberg is unaffected. I apologize for my lack of graces. It is hard to chat sometimes when one's surroundings are so interesting. Please join us for a meal. We pay. When you are settled in, he says, Avernum is a fascinating place. What is so fascinating? He smiles. Everything. This is a whole different world you have created down here. Hostile? Yes. Hard? Yes. But it promises much prosperity. Prosperity? Yes, for all of us. Surface and underworld alike if we reach out and claim it. That is why we three were sent here. Each of us has an area of expertise, a thing we learn about. Me, prosperity. Who sent you here? The great, dread Empress Prozac, the Empire's leader and paragon of wisdom. Why did you agree to come? Me? Why do I accept the risk? Because we all stand to gain great wealth, and I want to be first in line to take advantage. I will gather much information from my Empress. Then, when I am done, I will have that knowledge as well. I came to Avernum to seek my fortune. His face goes blank. He looks you in the eye very intently. Young, ambitious, brave. Yes, you came here for wealth. Perhaps I can help you find it. I hope we meet more times along the road we travel. It is an honor to meet you. Whatever our futures in business are, I am still but a humble merchant. I'm sure we can learn from each other. How did you become a merchant? I grew up on a barge on the surface. It was in my family for many years, since even before the reign of Emperor Hawthorne. I grew up around trade from an early age, but the rough barge life was not for me. It was on a long, rainy journey hauling heavy crates for my father that I saw the truth. I saw the business I could build. What sort of business did you build? I saved money. I bought wagons, paid other people to use them to transport goods, bought more wagons, barges too, anyone who can carry goods. It takes vision to figure out what goods to buy and where to send them. I have that vision. That vision brings me to Avernum. That and to serve your empress, the armored giant mutters. What happened to your father? Ringenberg smiles. He works for me. When he was old, I rescued him from that barge and let him spend his aging years shouting at stevedores near home, where he is safe. I want to reward him for the lesson he taught me. What was that lesson? Work hard. Always assume your competitor is ahead of you. The Empire is mighty, and it makes room for success for those who can grab it. The Empire made that possible? Of course, the Empire gives security. It gives law, certainty. Without those things, my business would be impossible. A happy life would be impossible. Does everyone in the Empire who works hard gain success? Of course not. Some work hard at a foolish dream. Others are unlucky. Luck does matter, after all. I am trusting in luck to come in here. You sound loyal to the Empire. I am. The Empire is the greatest creation of all of humanity in all of recorded history. It has brought a stable, prosperous life to countless people, and it will do so for my children and my children's children, so on for 100 generations. Many Avernites would disagree. Then I will convince them, by enabling them to benefit from the Empire's trade. Your hatred of us will fade as your comfort grows. Ringenberg sits and quietly watches. His words are few and far between. Sometimes he eats sparingly. His chewing is slow and deliberate, as if he's trying to determine what seasonings he can sell to Avernum with the greatest profit. You feel in him a kindred spirit. You're both out here trying to get rich, after all. His constant stare is unnerving, though. Why did you come to the underworld? It is at the request of Empress Prozac. She wants peace between the surface and the underworld. She wants us to learn about each other to our mutual benefit. I represent the business interests of the Empire. There is trade between us through the portals. There can be so much more. You couldn't send an assistant? I could have, of course. Then I would have failed. I need to see with my own eyes. I have a great talent for seeing opportunities. What about the risk? It exists. Avernum is always dangerous. Now, with all the monsters, it is worse. Still, such crises can bring more opportunities. What are you looking for? I look for two things. One, resources you can provide. Two, your needs. Those are the two sides of the scale. Which would you know about? Resources. Yes, crystals and unusual metals, of course. Alchemical reagents unavailable on the surface. Those are heavily exploited already. What else do you have to offer? Unique crafts? Artisans with new skills? Undiscovered foods? If you can offer such things, you can trade them for safety and comfort. Needs. There is so much the underworld imports from the surface at great expense. Quality wood, edible food unlike the swill you subsist on, certain medicines, lighting. That is a start. I am looking for more to offer. What if I could find something new that is worth trading? Well, my fortune-seeking young friend, I might be able to make you very rich. It is too early to say how we might help each other. Perhaps we will meet farther down the road. Sounds like you could be very useful. I have spent my whole life being useful. That is why the Empress chose me. Usefulness is my very being. Though I am well paid for it, of course. Is there anything you want to know? It is early in my journey. I am not yet ready for specifics. Still, you have traveled. You have goals. I do have a question for you. And what will you pay me for the information? Nothing yet. It is but a general inquiry. Your payment will be a benefit to Avernum in time. Your king did invite me, after all. Of course, in time, I might enable you to earn great payment. Ask your question. You know enough of Avernum to answer. It is a small question, and yet it is the most important one. Avernum, not as individuals, but as a nation. What does it want? Avernum longs for peace and safety. This cannot be granted, not by me or the Empress or anyone. Everything dies sooner or later, including nations. Tell me something possible. Avernum seeks respect. Ringenberg shakes his head. That is intangible. It comes and goes. It is earned and lost. Respect is the opinion of outsiders, and it is not most important. Tell me something more tangible. A bit of luxury in these harsh lands. Ringenberg nods. We have given some of this. We can give much more. What do we work for, if not a slightly less unpleasant life for our children? An interesting answer. Thank you. And can you get that for me? Maybe. It is early yet. Perhaps we can talk more farther down the road. I believe when it is safe, we will go to your tower colony. I hope your visit is productive. As do I. Thank you for your time. I wish you well. There is a young woman sitting at the table, tearing into a huge Avernite feast of roast lizard, fungal stew, and mushroom ale. You instantly recognize her as from the surface. She is not pale, and she has a free, cheerful attitude rare in the underworld. When you approach, she mumbles, her mouth full of food. She swallows. Come, sit down. I am Sage Michaela. I want to meet as many Avernites as possible, especially those who know about magic. I'm from the surface, not sure I can help. Oh, yes, I suppose you have the look. Still, you can be useful. You've seen far more of the underworld than I have. You can help with my mission. She tries to force some meat on a huge man sitting next to her wearing plate armor. He gently pushes her hand away, not for the first time. What is your mission? I am an officially designated Empire Sage. A high honor. I was selected by the court of Empress Prozek to answer an invitation from your king. I'm here to study your magic, your discoveries and ways of working your power. An older man to her right reaches out and rescues the sleeve of her robe from her stew. What will you do with what you learn? When I return to the surface, I plan to write a long series of papers about what I will learn. Then your sages can come to the surface and learn from us. Empress Prozek is determined to build peace with the underworld. Doing it in a different way didn't work out well for anybody. She leans back, pats her belly, and grabs a pen. She's ready to write down anything useful you say. How did you become a sage of the Empire? She smiles. I was raised in a small village, looked forward to a long life as a farmer's wife. The sages came to our town to test the children. I excelled, and that led to the privileges I enjoy. What sort of test did you undergo? There were many. Don't use your imagination too much. Nothing strange, nothing cruel. There were tests of memory, focus, comprehension. Then, if you pass, you are taught the most simple exercises of magical focus. If you can learn and perform, you are taken to a city. Then, more tests, and so on. Does the Empire do lots of testing? The Empire doesn't like to waste talent. Our royalty has always understood that great talent can be anywhere. After all, maintaining control of the whole known world is an impossibly difficult task. Only intelligence and discipline makes it possible. What privileges did you receive? I'm allowed to study and use magic. I can even do minor research. On the surface, you can only do these things with permission. Yet, I have ambition. I will take other steps upward. You need permission to use magic? Of course. Magic without control and permission leads to great suffering, like what the Vonatai inflicted on our continent of Avernum, or the destruction of Avernum is suffering now. What is the next step up? Full research privileges. I plan to bring remarkable new magical samples to the surface. That was the command of the Empress, but when I get there, I want to be the one to study them. Sage Michaela is sitting at the table consuming food. Whenever she can, she orders a new dish. Then she tastes it and makes notes on it in one of her journals. Occasionally, she looks up at you. How are you? Feel free to taste something. I share. I only seek knowledge. Why were you sent to Avernum? To gain information. That is why all three of us are here. She takes a delicate sip of mushroom ale. She shudders at the taste. Fascinating. The mission is becoming urgent, I think. What sort of information are you looking for exactly? Magic. That is my specialty. Not just how you practice magic, although that is important. I also want to see how it affects you to be raised in an environment so saturated with natural magic. Is there an effect? What is it? A thrilling new area of research? What have you learned so far? Oh, bits and bobs. The chaos has made it difficult to engage in calm study. Still, I am watching carefully and learning some fascinating things. Why is this mission so urgent now? Well, you are having a lot of problems, it is plain to see. Many of them have a clear magical origin. It is a plague of magic. I will watch what threatens you. I will see how you react. Now I must also see if your sickness can spread to the surface. Do you think our problems will spread to the surface? All three of them become ominously quiet. Finally, Michaela says, one way or another, we will find out. If Avernum contains more threats to the Empire, how will you react? Michaela grows nervous. I can't answer that. Those decisions rest with the Empress and the Empress alone. I feel like sampling more food. Care to join me? She calls for a few new dishes. Okay, I already read through that. Do you have a question for me? She sets aside a spoon and readies her pen. I do. Then ask. She indicates the food in front of her. Each dish is a standard staple of Avernum. Ale, stew, and meat. Which of these do you like the best? I favor a proper lizard steak. She nods. I can understand that. It's tough and stringy, and that flavor odd. Still, it is meat. I can feel its energy entering me. She writes a long entry in one of her journals. It does make me want to ask. Ask what? I am not familiar with what I am eating. These sorts of mushrooms, this breed of lizard, these species are totally foreign to me, and somehow they thrive in the underworld. I would not think so much life could be supported down here. Where did these foodstuffs come from? They were created by the wizards of Avernum. Her face lights up. This food is a product of magic. That means you are fed by magic. You dine on magic. Avernites are made of magic. Her companions can't help but listen to this with fascination. Thank you. This was most illuminating. I wish you safe exploring. Appreciated. This journey is more risky than we expected, but we serve the Empress. We will do our duty. Okay, with that in mind, I'm not going to go down here yet. But I do need to go ahead and save the game. Right here. And I'll see you all in the next part as we explore the rest of Fort Draco. Oh, and we also have a job board here too as well. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next part.